Welcome everyone to the YouTube channel Jesus Loves Everyone with Pastor Dillo, and I'm Counselor Bob. We're doing this YouTube channel because we have a unfettering belief that Jesus loves everybody and He's there for everybody, and it's our goal to bring Jesus to you. Today we're going to talk about the power of prayer and the Spirit of Jesus, how to bring that to you. For the first time in history, we have a path and a process that we can do this. What I've done is borrow from many of the psychology approaches out there and spiritual approaches out there and bring together an approach called emotional core therapy, 8-step process. What's really fascinating is that most everybody I talk to has an image of Jesus, that are Christian, has an image of Jesus, and it's different from person to person. So when we talk about the power of spirituality, people have the ability to interpret that for themselves, what their soul is, how they're connected to Jesus, and it does vary from person to person and from time to time. I like this approach right here. I like this little image of Jesus with the lamb. It's peaceful. It calms me down. But I even myself, I've had different images of Jesus over the years. It's changed from time to time. But when we talk about how we can use spirituality to help us with tapping into the power of Jesus, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about spirituality, not religion. I have a nice journal article on my app about using prayer and spirituality in the healing professions with emotional core therapy. It talks about the differences between spirituality and religion. Oftentimes, when you talk to people, they get they say they're disappointed with the religions they're talking about, whether it's Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, Christianity, etc. Sometimes they have problems with, or they're hurt by the rituals, the practices that have to go on as far as indoctrinated religion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a spiritual relationship with Jesus. And most people I talk to do feel at some time or another they felt connected to Jesus. What happens invariably is people get pushed away from Jesus by the stress of their daily lives. And so we have a process here, and I believe in the goodness of all human beings, that most people want to have a connection to Jesus. The way to have a connection to Jesus is put Him first above all your relationships. And so we have a process that allows you to do that. Have a calm, reflective, daydream state of being, sort of like what the Buddhists call mindfulness, where you have deep breathing, which calms you down. It's well researched, and there's hundreds of articles about how prayer and spirituality and mindfulness are researched to help people. It gives them hope, calmness, and these are really good qualities that you can that are deemed helpful for people. So they're used in hospitals, churches, synagogues, mental health facilities to calm people down. It's well received. So that's what we're really trying to do here. And that's the 8th step. Have a balance your equilibrium. Practice daily meditative techniques. So spirituality is one, and mindfulness is another. We're going to talk about spirituality here, specifically Christian spirituality. You can call it Catholic spirituality. A nice calm image of Jesus. Once you have that, okay, as your center, okay, throughout the day and night, throughout your life, that's a key thing. Pastor Dillo says he's had Jesus as his friend his whole life that he talks to. That's a good way to look at it. The idea you can talk to someone all day long. With my emotional core therapy app, you have a process that works like entering data in a computer. You can use the app all day long to release stress and get back to a peaceful state of being. And that peaceful state of being can be a nice spiritual image of Jesus, which you have, as long as it calms you down. So what really gets us away from our spirit, a spiritual relationship with Jesus? It's stress. In here, I have a process that covers the root cause of stress. You can use this 8-step process for anything you're going through, whether it's depression, anxiety, anger, addictions, eating disorders, marital problems, you name it, you can process it. So what we have here is that these 8 steps, I'm going to go through these one by one. There's really only 6 steps because 2 of the steps happen automatically. Step 3 happens automatically, and step 5. So we're really focusing on learning 6 steps to get into a spiritual relationship with Jesus. The 6 steps are not easy. You're looking at probably 5 to 10 to 20 hours. Typically, it takes people to learn this process. But stress happens your whole life, and stress gets us away from Jesus. Most schools and religious practices, you spend hours anyways practicing techniques. So why not learn something that's going to work every time? Our approach is scientifically proven to be the most effective approach in the world to help spirituality. Why? Because I discovered the root cause of stress years ago, and I have a federal copyright on it. On the emotional core therapy process. The root cause of stress is the temporary arousal of one of the four true emotions, which is joy, grief, fear, relief. Once you learn to release those four emotions from the relationship you enter and leave, you get back to a peaceful state with Jesus. Most people pick 10 to 20. Most people have hundreds of relationship choices a day. Some are really important, like going to work every day. Maybe taking medications that may harm you or help you. Maybe taking drugs or alcohol that may harm or help you, or cigarettes or soda pop or alcohol, etc. Maybe working in a certain way that causes you stress, like bending over the wrong way or sitting on a computer. These are all things choices we make that cause us stress. So we have to examine them. Are they healthy for us? But our first relationship with our spiritual approach is with Jesus. So Jesus is the eighth step. Everything we do is a relationship choice that gets us away from Jesus. That's how we look at spirituality. So with a calm state of being as our eighth step, we just learn to flush out the stress daily. Again, it's like entering data in the computer. So why is this approach so healthy? Because it makes you look at all relationships you enter into. The first step is this. This is called the ECT flow chart. Relationships with self, other people, places, or things. So you're picking relationships and you're examining them, okay? I'm examining this relationship I enter into. Today, my relationship is using a video to help explain the process. My relationship is with the camera, with the audience, with the poster here, with the books. These are all relationships I'm choosing to help facilitate my point. Okay, so we all have relationships, whether it's relationships with kids, family, food, etc. We are choosing these relationships. The power of emotional core therapy, it's making you examine why you're choosing these relationships, how it's affecting you, etc. So our first relationship with Jesus, and we're examining every relationship choice we pick. So that's the first step. And that happens kind of automatically too. We're picking relationships and we're examining them. The second step is, what are the needs of relationships that causes stress? I break these down into categories: emotional, financial, spiritual, physical. The key part of emotional core therapy is to examine and be vigilant about what's in the environment that's causing you stress. So for example, financial. Most people are stressed out because of their finances, the way the world is now with the virus, people not working as much, people getting sick financially from the virus, etc. These are some of the things that cause people stress. There's other examples of stress too. It's emotional, listening to people, spiritual, maybe your religious choices, and physical, maybe just lifting or bending or doing things physically. These are all stresses. So once you learn to examine what's in the world, and from a needs point, can you meet those needs? What are the needs that are causing you stress? That's a critically important thing to do. With the Emotional Core Therapy app that's free on our YouTube channel, you can put in any stress you have in the app and go right to the Google and research what's causing you stress. So if you have a backache, you can go to step 2 of the app, plug in back injuries, stress of backs, and your information will come right there. You can cut and paste it right to the app and learn to process it. Say you're doing cigarette smoking, what's in nicotine? You can research the internet on Google for what's in nicotine, the harmful effects of nicotine, put it right into the app. The app you can use all day or night. That's why it's so healthy. One of the best ways to get in a relationship with Jesus is through our Emotional Core Therapy app. We have training videos, books, and journal articles, which are all linked into my app. And this is a free app too. It's on the Android system, not yet on the iPhone. But what we want to do is use repetition until we finally own it and learn it. The third step of the emotional core therapy process is, what are the needs that are causing us stress? Emotional, financial, what are the senses that are being aroused when you meet the needs? So seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, hearing, our senses, this happens automatically. So when we're meeting needs of someone that's causing us stress, we sense that. And we have to figure out what senses are happening. It's an automatic step, basically, for most of us. The fourth step is critical. What is the emotion that's being aroused? The 4 emotions are joy, grief, fear, relief. If you put your hand in a stove, you don't do it again, it burns you. That's how it is with emotions. You have to learn to monitor your body. You have a peaceful relationship with Jesus, and you're monitoring your body all the time for stress. Sure, we want joy in life, we want relief in life, okay? We don't want grief and fear. The things that cause us grief and fear, we have to fully identify them, fully embrace them, and then learn to move away from them. It's kind of the secret of life. The more as we're older, we realize that bad things happen to us, and we have to examine them and why they're happening to us, and then be able to move away from them is critical to the process. Why? Because that's getting right into it and getting us away from our relationship with Jesus. The problem with stress is it can bother you for weeks and months, if not longer. People have long-term stress or depression for years and years or months and months. People have acute anxiety for months and months, and it gets us away from our relationship with Jesus. My approach teaches you to cathartically release your emotions each time you're choosing a relationship, to stay calm. Jesus first. Whatever's stressing me out, I'm going to release it, talk about it, release it. So the fifth step is that after you feel the stress, after you interpret the stress and engage in it, it goes to your brain central nervous system. This is an automatic step, the fifth step. Your brain, your muscles, tendons feel the stress. It reverberates throughout your body like an echo. Boom, boom, boom. You're feeling the stress. The sixth step is you have uncomfortable symptoms or pleasurable symptoms if you have joy and relief from the stress. Muscle tightness, fatigue, your mind, your body, your chest. Where do you feel the stress? Once you feel it, the seventh step is the releasing process. Talk it out, write it out. There's different techniques used in the book. We have like 20, 30 techniques used in the books and the videos that I have to learn to release the stress. But the app basically allows you to talk and write it out, which is very common. We really want to be vocal and verbal about our stress that we're going through. Why? Because that's giving voice to our relationship choices. Sometimes we make bad relationship choices. We have to learn to deal with that. Let it out and learn from it. The motto I use is fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Once torn, once burned, twice shy. The idea is that we can learn from the bad in life. So once you learn over and over again to identify the stress you're in, release it, whether it's good or bad, and get back to a peaceful state of Jesus, you can pretty much handle anything. My passion is to bring this to the world, like Pastor Adillo's. We know what stress is. We've had it our whole life. Pastor Adillo and I have a combined almost 100 years of experience being a Catholic, right? And we know that there's other goodness in other religions too. That's why we have other books on this on this YouTube channel that cover the other major religions. We have books for agnostic or atheist people too. Jesus says, love thy neighbor as thyself, which our passion is to bring this to the whole world, peace and happiness, and learn to have a brotherhood of people that connect with others throughout the world in the goal of bringing peace and happiness to the world. But it all starts with your relationship centered with Jesus. So that's our plan today, is to teach you more about prayer and spirituality, tapping into these powerful tools to help you live a full, healthy life. Thank you.